Fahrenheit 451 is a 1966 British film directed by Francois Truffaut, who co-wrote the script with Jean-Louis Richard. In an unspecified dystopian future, individuality is denied, conformity is the law, and firemen are paid to burn books. Based on the 1954 novel by Ray Bradbury, after the book burnings in Nazi Germany, the film stars Julie Christie as Clarisse, Oskar Werner as Guy Montag, and Cyril Cusack as the fire captain of Engine House 451. In this video, I would like to share some of my perspectives of this film. Director Francois Truffaut uses actress Julie Christie to play both Montag's wife, named Linda, and a young woman named Clarisse. Truffaut did this to contrast both characters. Linda is numb and distracted, preferring to talk to her television than with her husband. Director Louis Buñuel employs this same technique in his 1977 film, That Obscure Object of Desire, where he uses two actresses, Carol Bouquet and Angela Molina Tejedor, to play a single character named Conchita, who is involved in a dysfunctional relationship with an older man named Matthew, played by the great Fernando Rey. In Fahrenheit 451, Christie's characters are contrasted against each other, with Linda playing the closed-minded follower and Clarisse the open-minded thinker, and the attitudes they both have in regard to the system of government they live in. Montag asks his wife when they got married and reads a book he rescued from an old woman's house. One of the women cries, touched by the words he reads from the book, and says, "I'd forgotten about those feelings." Early in the film, Clarisse asks Montag if it is true that firemen used to put out fires instead of starting them, and he can't remember. Faber addresses Montag in the third person. Montag has one quality I appreciate greatly. He says very little. The book people become the books they read, which is a way of them regaining the individuality the state took from them. Montag is introduced to Plato's Republic, Alice in Wonderland, The Martian Chronicles, Pride and Prejudice, Volumes 1 and 2, and others. The old lady wants to die with her books. In this way, the books are her. The firehouse captain tells Montag to increase the dosage of sports and other group activities for the recruits to keep them happy and busy. Clarisse is different. Clarisse is fired from her job as a school teacher for not sticking to the timetable. She and the old woman before her had fun with the students. The staff reported Clarisse and the old woman because they are different. She doesn't watch television like everybody else. She asks questions and talks a lot. So in this way, you can see that individuality is suppressed in this society. And the greatest advantage to not saying anything is that you're safe. So the safety of saying nothing can apply to reality. Like, for instance, you look at Martin Luther King, the Dixie Chicks, Jesus Christ, Fidel Castro. What do all these people have in common? Is they were demonized, penalized, and in some cases assassinated for going against popular opinion. Because it's safer to go with the flow than it is to go the opposite way, especially when that way is the right way. When it comes to offending the beliefs of others, the safest course of action is not to say anything at all. And here are some examples from the film. At around 9 minutes into the film, Montag asks Clarisse if her parents ever warned her not to talk to strangers. Here's another example. In a training class at the firehouse, the instructor separates two classmates who like sitting side by side. Because when they sit side by side, they like to talk to each other. And here's another example from the film. The fire captain, Faber, says to Montag that he has only one quality that he appreciates greatly, and that he says he says very little. And just one more example from the film regarding, the safety of saying nothing. Montag looks very uncomfortable when the girl on the monorail strikes up a conversation with him. In the film, Montag and Clarisse go to a school, and a boy that they see in the hall runs away. Clarisse wants to believe that the boy ran away because he was afraid of Montag's suit. Montag hides and leaves Clarisse alone in the hall, and the boy comes out again and runs away when he sees Clarisse, because Clarisse has been stigmatized as being different. Faber tells Montag that destroying books makes people the same. Books in this film are people and ideas that are considered different. And there is a report box for citizens to anonymously report on fellow citizens who own books. And also, independent thinking carries a stigma. Montag argues with Linda and her friends and reads a book he rescued from the old woman's house. One of the women cries because she's touched by the words that he's reading from the book. And she says, "I'd forgotten all about those words." And that suggests that the books are giving her back her feelings. Like, this world is a world where people have been desensualized and they have been desensitized, and the feelings that are preserved in the books are looked upon by the government as being unlawful, because the government doesn't want people to have feelings. So reading these books are putting people back in touch with their feelings. Clarisse asks Montag why he burns books, and his answer is that books are rubbish and they make people unhappy. She asks him if he's read a book, and he says no. This illustrates the power of propaganda and how it feeds off of ignorance. You take racial stereotypes, for instance. People in all white communities and that have no contact with real life black people get their images and ideas of black people off of television. Images that depict black people as gangbangers, violent, illiterate, lazy, and sexually deviant, who do nothing, absolutely nothing, with their time, energy, or minds but play basketball, impregnate women, and abandon their children. Now think about Montag's answer to Clarisse's question as to whether he has read any of the books he's burned. He says that he hasn't. Therefore, he doesn't know what he's burning. He's been taught that books are bad without reading one for himself. Faber, the fire captain, addresses Montag in the third person, because you're not really a person in this society. So he doesn't address him directly. He addresses him indirectly. When Montag is killed, only the back of his head is shown. Linda plays a TV game where she is questioned by the show's host. Montag disappoints her by reminding her that there are hundreds of thousands of people with her name. These are just a few perspectives that I wanted to share with you about Fahrenheit 451, which is a great movie based on a great book by one of my favorite science fiction writers, Ray Bradbury. The movie and the book are different, and in some cases, that could be a bad thing, but I think in this case it's a good thing, because the book and the film have a completely different flavor to them, even though they are both on the same topic of censorship and conformity. It's a great movie, and I appreciate you watching this video, and I would appreciate a comment or a like. In the description you'll find a link to my film blog where you can go and you can read up on other movies that I have also covered, such as this one. Again, thank you, and I appreciate you taking the time out to watch this video.